Collin Morikawa, simply unflappable on the weekend, gets it done with a final round 66 bogey-free golf to capture the coveted Claret Jug and join an elite list of Open champions 24 years or younger. This tournament specifically requires wisdom. It requires experience. Well, this was Morikawa's first ever start at the Open Championship and his second ever professional venture at Links Golf. The kid's a quick teach as he joins a list that includes the likes of Jordan Spieth, Tiger Woods, Seve Ballesteros, Gary Player, Peter Thompson, and Bobby Jones. Collin Morikawa, your champion golfer of the year. It's time now for the Geico 15. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to find out how much you could save. Joining me now to put the finishing touches on a thrilling Open Championship, CBS senior golf writer Kyle Porter and Sportsline data scientist Rick Gehman. Gentlemen, Collin Morikawa, your champion golfer of the year, simply unflappable. A final round bogey-free 66. Didn't make a bogey over the final 31 holes of this championship, guys. Kyle Porter, your emerging thought is what?
Well, it's exactly what you just said. The last 30 was unreal. He was 2 over through 6 holes on Saturday, and it looked like he was going to fade, right? So he goes out and wins the PGA Championship last year, but he does it from behind. There's not any fans. It's not discounted. It was a great win over some great players. This is different, Joe. This is very different to be playing in your first Open with Jordan Spieth, Jon Rahm, and Louis Oosthuizen, 3 major winners right on your tail. He played the last 30 in 8 under. He played the last 30 holes of this tournament in 8 under, didn't miss a shot, hit every putt that he needed to. The putt on 14 today, the putt on 15 today to save par there. It was an unbelievable performance, and I think that we think often about Collin Morikawa as a great ball striker, a great iron player, and a little bit of a guy like Rory who is kind of a guy that kind of boat races people and just wins big and is just this great talent. But he was in a little bit of a dogfight today, and he went and got it. That was super impressive, and that's a different skill than I think what we normally talk about. So can't say enough great things. The putter was obviously hot this week as he finished, I think it was first in putting on the entire week. And when he does that, he's going to be, as Rick knows, very difficult to beat.
Very difficult to beat indeed. He was a cheat code this week, especially on the weekend. When you marry the elite ball striking and iron play with that putter, it's over. Like, the rest of the field doesn't have much of a chance. And what I was even more impressed with Collin Morikawa this week, and especially on the weekend, is his maturity. You know, he got into a couple difficult situations on Sunday, was able to extract himself, at least give himself a chance to make par, converted nearly every single putt.
As we try and situate this 11th month stretch for Morikawa historically, Rick, is it time that we start regarding this young man as one of the true big game hunters on tour?
I mean, we certainly have to, right? He has answered every single question. He's won an alternate field event. He's won a regular event. He's won a WGC. He's won 2 major championships, and he's done the 2 majors in his first attempt. What else could we even ask of this guy? It's an unbelievable stretch of golf. He certainly needs to be regarded as one of the top players in the world. This win is not going to make him the #1 player. It's going to move him up, and it's going to put him in a position for the next coming weeks and months where he could potentially become the #1 player in the world. I don't know what is left to sleep on Collin Morikawa at this point, because he's answering every question, and I know that no one compares to Tiger Woods, and likely no one will ever compare to Tiger Woods, and this is a very small sample size, but what he has done in his young career is the closest thing we've seen to Tiger in the modern game.
Yeah, I think that the 2 numbers that you guys mentioned there, the first since the 2 guys back in the early 1900s to win 2 of his first 8. And then the first since World War II to win not the first, but I think he's like the 6th or 7th guy. We had a graphic. I'd love to see that again. But the 6th or 7th guy to win multiple majors before turning age 25 since World War II. And the guys on this list that he joins, I mean, it's all the usual suspects. You see it here: Spieth and Rory and Tiger and Seve and Jack Nicklaus. I mean, look at this list.
Unbelievable.
This is a joke. I mean, what is that? 6 guys on this list, and Morikawa's among them. You know, we thought he was going to be good, and we've kind of seen that since he came out. I don't know that we thought his game was complete enough to be on this list, to be this good. And you see what can happen when he just putts it. I mean, he putted it really well this week, but when he just putts it okay, and the next 10 years, that's the thing to watch. As long as he doesn't chase distance and do, anything just stupid with his swing, which would be anything because it's the best swing in the game. From tee to green, he's going to be up there. It's can he figure out, and maybe this is the formula. Maybe it's just, hey, I'm going to have some really bad putting weeks and miss some cuts at major championships. I think he missed the cut at Winged Foot at the U.S. Open there. He finished way down. And then I'm going to have some really good putting weeks, and I'm going to win majors when I have those good putting weeks. So maybe that's it for him. Maybe you don't want to become a consistent putter. Maybe it's just really bad weeks, really good weeks, and that ends in a pile of trophies at the end of his career.
Not that it required any validation, but this one no doubt offers more credence to what he did 11 months ago with no fans in the stands there at TPC Harding Park, carding his first major championship there at the PGA. You saw that list, you saw one of the names on it, and that name is Jordan Spieth. Gutsy performance Sunday out of Jordan. Played the final 12 holes Sunday, 6 under par after carding a couple early bogeys in his round. KP, you can look back and play the what-if game on any one of his 9 bogeys throughout the week, but how much do you believe 17 and 18 on Saturday sealed Spieth's fate?
Well, that and the start on Sunday. The start, he was just missing every green he looked at. And he dug himself a hole over that, probably 6 or 7 holes, the last 2 on Saturday and then the first 5 on Sunday before he got it going. And I mean, the close was great. I mean, and we talk about this all the time on the First Cut podcast, but nobody understands the rhythm of a 72-hole event better than Spieth. It seems like he always, I have no data to back this up, but it seems like he always peaks at the very end. His lowest score of the entire week comes at the very, very end of the tournament. And that doesn't always happen. We see guys peak on a Saturday afternoon and then they'll fade, or a Sunday morning and then they'll fade a little bit. Spieth doesn't do that. He just keeps coming. He keeps coming.
Yeah, unbelievably impressive final 12 holes from Jordan Spieth. You know, he erases the 2 mistakes early with an eagle on number 7. He adds 4 more birdies coming in, and he was really close to tacking on a couple more after that. You know, he hit a couple of really good putts that burned the edges. I thought he got a little bit unlucky with a tee shot or 2 that just kind of hopped into the really thick stuff instead of staying into the first cut, which we know Jordan Spieth is much better out of, and most guys are. So I think that this is a couple of strokes that were left out there, not only coming in on Sunday if everything goes exactly as planned, or those strokes that we saw him, you know, to be in the middle of the fairway on 17 on Saturday, to make bogey, to whiff from 2 feet on 18 on Saturday. That's going to cause Jordan Spieth to lose some sleep, I imagine, even though we know, hey, those shots could have come from anywhere. You finished 2 shots back. It was a great week. It was a great Sunday. Don't beat yourself up over it.
Jordan Spieth, thankfully, good for a thrill once again. We know it's in no way the result Jordan was looking for here on Sunday, but it's still very much the culmination of a comeback. This is a guy who last year couldn't get himself to stand over a golf ball comfortably, and here he is contending in the biggest moments once again. Rick, how do you characterize this methodical comeback for one of the game's greatest attractions?
It's been a grind. I mean, Jordan Spieth has told us kind of how dark some of those days were in the 3 years he went between victory, and especially when, we're constantly putting the expectations on him that it's all about major championships. And when he's putting those own expectations on himself, it's very, very difficult. And when you have so many thoughts going through your brain, I can't even imagine how difficult that would be. But something has clicked for him. You know, this year, 2021 has been phenomenal. The advanced metrics bear that out. He's been one of the best players on planet Earth. He's doing it now in a super sustainable way with the iron play. The driver is good enough, which is exactly what you're asking for from Jordan Spieth. And the fact that he is now putting himself in contention at major championships again. This is a really good sign. It's not only a really good sign for Jordan Spieth, but it's a really good sign for the game of golf. Already so deep, already with so many superstars. Now that Jordan Spieth seemingly back on top of the game and likely contending on a near weekly basis, we as fans are in a really good spot.
Yeah, you know, I go back to last year's Masters. So in November, Spieth playing the Masters, he was on the cut line on Friday, and I remember him, I think he made a really nice par at the last hole on Friday to make the cut, and he was like really excited about it, didn't know if he was going to get to the weekend, and you're just like, man, that's not what I want out of Jordan Spieth. And I remember seeing him and Justin Thomas having lunch on Sunday after DJ won at that Masters, kind of under the veranda there at Augusta National. And he just seemed to be just enjoying himself. And that's great for him, great perspective, all that stuff. But you want Spieth in the position where he's kind of beat up emotionally on a Sunday, because that means he was in it like he was at this Open. And I really thought that, even though he didn't win, I mean, imagine, I tweeted this out, imagine telling yourself on January 1 that Spieth would lose to one guy at the Open. Yeah. I mean, that it would have been a ludicrous statement. And here we are. So it really, even though he didn't win the golf tournament, I really felt like this week was kind of like the circle completing. And now you go into 2022 with Jordan Spieth with, I think, a ton of optimism. Is he going to be the guy he was in 15 or 17? I don't know. Probably not. That guy was probably the best player in the world, maybe by far the best player in the world. But to do what he did this year, he's right there among the best players in the world once again going into next season.
Yeah, we know confidence and expectation are once again on his side, and it's always better when Jordan's around the top of the leaderboard. It pains me to pile on, guys, but Louis Oosthuizen again with beachfront property staring into a sea of heartbreak. A final round 1 over 71 outside of a rattled pin at 11. Truly few signs of life out of the elder statesman. KP, how do you come to peace with a season of almosts for the South African?
Well, to me, this was a little bit of, I thought he had one last chance to kind of answer the question that we've been asking for 5 or 6 years now, which is, can Louis kind of close this out? And it's been no. And some of those major championships where he finished second are a little bit unfair. He got kind of, boat raced by guys. He kind of got blown away by some guys, but he had this one, he had it right there in front of him, and he didn't go get it. He didn't go get that, to borrow Jordan Spieth's phrase from Birkdale in 2017. And that doesn't make Louis not a great champion. He will always have won the 2010 Open Championship at the old course at St. Andrews, but it is a little bit more of an emphatic answer to, hey, are you going to go get one of these? And the answer has been no, and it continues to be no. And I thought this was the most resounding no that we've gotten so far from Louis in his close calls.
Yeah, I agree. This was probably the most disappointed I had been in any of Louis', now what? Well, I guess he didn't finish runner-up here. I guess that's good. Finished third in these six runner-up finishes. I was disappointed at Torrey Pines when he yanks one, left into the penalty area late in that Sunday round. But otherwise, he played really well. This whole day, this whole Sunday was just flat from Louis Oosthuizen. He was missing short and right on seemingly every shot right out of the gate, and he never really gave himself an opportunity. And once Collin Morikawa kind of took over the leaderboard and passed Louis Oosthuizen, he just left him in his dust, and there was very little resistance outside of the pin that he hits from 245 yards out for a near ace. But there was just not a lot of momentum. There was not a lot there for Louis, and you wonder if having the wire-to-wire lead for the first 3 days starts to take your toll on him. Maybe now on Thursday he's thinking about the Claret Jug, and Friday he's thinking about it, and Saturday night he's got to sleep on the same thoughts that he has slept on countless times before. And you wonder if it just became too much and everybody else just went out there and played better than him. But this to me felt like the most disappointing one we've seen from Louis recently.
All right, time now for the Geico 15-second statement. It should not go without mentioning that Jon Rahm joins an elite list of players as well to finish top 10 in all 4 majors in a single season. And what a major season it was, guys. Matsuyama, a first-time winner at the Masters, punctuated with that imagery of a bow. Phil turning back the clock at Kiowa. Rahm's inevitable triumph with the birdie bang to finish. And here, Morikawa's masterclass. Forget the 15 seconds. KP, you're the historian amongst us. Just how special were these last few months on tour?
Well, I'm glad that I've got more than 15 seconds here. The last few months have been it's been so fun. We were sitting here 12 months ago and we said, hey, somebody over the next year is going to make a career, right? Somebody is going to construct an entire career out of the next 12 months. And that guy happened to be Collin Morikawa. And you would throw, obviously Phil added to his, Hideki added to his, and Jon Rahm, I think, is just starting his. But Morikawa was the one that built an entire career. And I don't know if we're doing the 15-second thing right now, but here's my bold statement about what we've seen. And that is that the Open Championship, and I thought this week was instructive of this, the Open Championship produces the best major winners. If you go back to, and this is a little recency bias, but it's not that recent. If you go back to 2011, since that Open at Royal St. George's, which Darren Clarke won, we've gotten Ernie Els, we've gotten Phil in 2013 with his best round ever. We've gotten a Rory romp in 2014. We got a three-way playoff that Zach Johnson won, who's a multiple-time major winner in 2015. 16 was Stenson and Phil. Stenson beat Phil at Troon. 17 was Spieth, go get that, at Birkdale. 18 was Francesco Molinari beating Tiger, Rory, and Spieth at Carnoustie. 19 was Shane Lowry winning in Northern Ireland, and now Collin Morikawa, who's a multiple-time major winner as well, winning at Royal St. George's. So all the majors are great for different reasons. I think this one produces the best champions that we get every single year.
That's absolutely awesome stuff. I want to focus more on the last 6. I think the 6 that we've had since golf returned last summer have been maybe the best 6 major championship stretch ever. I mean, think about not only the history that we got. Collin Morikawa gets not number 1 and number 2. Dustin Johnson validates his first major championship with a second. Hideki wins one for Japan and just turns this, I mean, it's going to be globally impactful for the next 20 years. Phil does it at age 50, and Bryson goes out and gets one at Winged Foot. I mean, it's just an unbelievable stretch of golf won by some of the game's biggest stars, the biggest moments, and created the most history. We could not have asked for a better 6 major stretch, and unfortunately, we have to wait until April to get another one.
Well, gentlemen, it has been a blast breaking it down with you all year long. Kyle Porter and Rick Gehman, many thanks to those atop my personal leaderboard. Cheers, fellas. And don't forget, there's plenty more analysis to be had. Download and subscribe the First Cut podcast. Our guys taking you under the ropes and into the action each and every week, including a megapod coming your way Sunday night, putting the finishing touches on the Open Championship. Download and subscribe today.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.